I just wanted to cut in real quick. Dan and I accidentally got like way in the weeds.
I don't know. It's just
Mhm.
it doesn't exist. That part doesn't exist anymore. Be good.
You went into this saying, I hate battle royales, but I love the setting of the RPG. Dan, it's October.
It is.
You know what October means?
Uh,
It's time for
the return
ABC's
of-
Twilight movie
Oh,
marathon.
oh no.
I don't know if ABC has a Twilight marathon,
It does
but they
feel
should.
like that feels like a very ABC thing to have.
I feel like ABC doesn't own the Twilight movies.
I don't think that doesn't feel like it would stop them.
You know, let me double check. Let me see what Summit. Who owns Summit? Huh. I got to find this out. I was going to riff on something else here. But now I'm wondering, let's see. It's a part of Lionsgate. Who does Lionsgate associated with? Let's see. You know, it's actually really possible that let's see, is Lionsgate owned by Disney? Holy shit. It's possible. Disney might actually technically have it because Lionsgate was part of Fox, I believe. So ABC's Twilight movie marathon, not super likely. But that's okay. You know why? Because you can just go on Netflix and watch them. You can have your own ABC Twilight movie marathon, which I have been doing, actually. I watched the first two.
Okay.
And boy howdy, I didn't think I would sit here and tell you the first movie was actually kind of fun and the second one was ass garbage, but here we are.
That is both concerning and vaguely disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you.
See, here's the thing. The second one focused too much on the werewolves, which are objectively the worst part of the Twilight movie. There are no werewolves in the first one. There's just edgy vampires. And I gotta be honest, dude. The edgy vampires sell it for me. I'm 100% down with watching garbage, edgy vampire content.
It's weird. You sound like you just said vampire content. Fucking got him.
I mean, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to bring up vampires today. I feel like, you know, it's like I jokingly was saying, it's October, it's spooky month. It's time to talk about scary things. But I don't know. I know you like vampires a lot.
I do. I have a massive soft spot for vampires for what is frankly no good reason, right? Like I'm aware that it's a bad take. I don't think I care.
I don't think it's a bad take to like vampires. I think they're an interesting monster creature, you know, like you can have fun with vampires.
That's true. You can have fun with vampires. Wink.
Stop fucking vampires, Dan.
What else are you supposed to do with them?
Anything. Literally anything.
Any one thing.
I'm begging you, just think of one thing to do with vampires that doesn't involve your penis.
Yeah, who said it? No, you know what? I'm not going to finish that sentence. Yeah, no, I don't know. Vampires are just cool. I've always enjoyed vampire aesthetics. I've always enjoyed. I mean, not only from like the like there's like the heavy gothic like influences, but like I don't know. I just think they're neat. And I feel like we don't get. I feel like we don't. It's hard to get like interesting takes on vampires nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, not all vampire stories have been told, whatever. But like a lot of them kind of have. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's totally fine. But I do think it means that like we're in this weird, wacky world of like vampires? Question mark? Like they like what was like the last thing I saw with vampires that was actually good was What We Do in the Shadows. Which, don't get me wrong.
Man, I do love that.
I do fucking love What We Do in the Shadows, like a lot, actually. But it is also specifically, what's the word? Like it's specifically a parody of vampires. Like playing vampires straight.
It's
I don't think can be done.
over edgy vampires.
I don't think you can do a situation where you play vampire straight, and I think that like part of that's okay, right? Because a lot of vampire lore has a lot of like, ooh, big yikes, uncomfortable stuff going on as well, right? Like there's a lot of like uncomfortable implication stuff that is kind of seated in all of that.
Well, that's the thing. Depending on your chosen vampire lore, some of them have that mind control ability, and that just gets a little bit weird. But like, honestly, I feel like some people focus on that too much when that's not like, it doesn't need to be the main core part of vampires. I don't think you need to have that be your focus. You can do a lot of stuff with vampires.
Oh yeah, agreed. And frankly, you should do a lot of stuff with vampires. More stuff should be done with vampires. That's my take. They were working on the oh shoot, what is that series? Well, I don't remember. I am blanking. They were working on that series. Fucking what is the Vampire the Masquerade? The new Vampire the Masquerade game was in develop. I think it still is actually.
I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I just think vampires are neat.
I mean, I know that there's a Vampire Masquerade battle royale.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Is it, what is it? Is it Bloodlines?
No, Bloodlines is a regular.
That's the old one.
That's an RPG. Vampire the Masquerade.
Blood Hunt. It's Blood Hunt.
Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt.
Yeah, free to play battle royale. It's honestly the fact that it's scoring a solid 4 out of 5. That's not bad.
I remember this trailer coming out.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know this was an
it's
actual
fine.
Vampire the Masquerade game. I just thought it was generally humans v vampires. Huh.
I mean, maybe it was initially, and then it got picked up by Vampire the Masquerade.
Unlikely. They wouldn't want to taint their flawless image. That's so interesting. I am genuinely much more interested in this game now. I will say I remember seeing that game, and I vaguely remember, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it was it didn't seem like it was going to be a battle royale. It felt like it was going to be like a PvE game. Maybe I'm just thinking of a totally different game. PvE vampire game. Let's see.
To be honest, I feel like a PvE vampire game, I don't think that would really work for me.
It was very much the appearance of the game was that it was going to be a like a 4-person almost Left 4 Dead style, every person has different powers kind of thing. But it looks like that might have been this. Let me see. Hold on, let me see if I can find the original trailer for this. What is the original? Mute this. No, this is definitely not the game I'm thinking it was. Okay, so there's another vampire game that is coming out. I'm gonna look it up. Vampire. Maybe it was a game with humans versus vampires, 4-player. I have no idea. It's bothering. Was it V Rising? Is that what it was? No, this is something totally different. But I'm kind of into whatever this is. What is this?
Nice.
It's a survival. What the fuck is this?
So I'm
I'm so lost. I'm so in the weeds on this right now. It's not even funny.
I'm currently flipping through the Steam reviews for Blood Hunt,
and
there's this one person. What does WOD mean?
World of Darkness. It's the
World of Darkness. Okay.
Overall setting that Vampire the Masquerade. Oh God!
I'm glad that you knew that because I figured you would.
Because it's originally an RPG.
There's this review, and it's like, I love World of Darkness, and I don't like Battle Royale games. I tried it anyway since, a new vampire game and a multiplayer one. Kinda disappointed. Game is not really optimized, and they even included one of the most flavorless clans in World of Darkness, the Toreador. Maybe the game will get better with a few patches, but for now, it's just like any other game of the genre. And firstly, I have so little patience for one of the most flavorless clans. And it's like, dude, it's a battle royale game for Vampire the Masquerade. I literally don't know what you want. It's just a battle royale.
Be good.
You went into this saying, I hate battle royales, but I love the setting of the RPG, so maybe this will work. And of course you're not gonna like it.
And that's okay. You don't have to like it, right? Like, there's that.
And that's exactly it. Like, there's a lot of fun to be had with games like this. But if you're not a battle royale, like, I have gotten past disparaging Fortnite at this point.
Yeah, because
I understand
hating Fortnite is honestly not just, it's a boring take. It's not even a bad take. It's just a boring take now.
It's such a dead take. It's like, oh, cool. You also are 45 years old. Congratulations. Like, I don't know. I see no reason to hate on Fortnite anymore because, go figure, it just isn't for me. I just, as it turns out, cannot get into battle royales that much. I like Apex, but I'm not above saying that the mechanics. Well, here's the thing. I'm very, very comfortable saying the mechanics of Fortnite are too much for me. I don't think I'd be able to keep up with the building.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
And as such, I'm also not going to go out of my way to check out battle royale games because I know for the most part, I don't know, I'm just not the hugest fan. But I love having a good Apex every now and then. But like, and this looks like it could be a lot like Apex, Blood Hunt. But like, if I knew I didn't like battle royale games,
And then
I
you
wouldn't
went and
buy,
played
like-
a battle royale game.
I love Fallout, let's say, but I'm not
Mhm.
going to buy the Fallout battle royale any more than I'm going to buy the Fallout MMO just because I like Fallout.
Yeah. It's a bad move.
You know? Yeah. And then to complain that they included a clan that you don't like is just
It's such a boring
the
take.
funniest, like, it's the absolute funniest, like, out of touch, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, this person played an hour of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Respectfully, that is not enough time to know whether it's actually good or not.
I
This
mean,
other
you
person
can
who
know.
played
I
two
think
and
at
a
that
half
point you can know
hours-
if it's not for you or not. But I agree, you
I
can't know if
agree,
it's
but
good or not.
I don't think that you can then go and put a negative review on Steam saying that it's needs patched and is bad.
Apparently, you can.
I can
actually.
understand,
Fun
like,
fact.
You can. Well, you can. Like, he agrees with someone who has played longer that says it's a little poorly optimized. That's fine. You know what? Many new games are poorly optimized.
Damn.
That is
that's
simply
crazy.
how it is. I know, right?
That's crazy, dude.
Really?
Really?
But I know some people were playing this for a while and they liked it well enough and but they weren't like good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I feel like that's kind of where this game sits, is like you just might not be good at the game, and that's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with not being good at the game. In fact, I would actually
Mhm.
respect you more if you just like, hey, this game, it could be something someday, but I am bad at it.
Also, not for nothing, I'm pretty sure I'm scraping bottom of the barrel of like minimum requirements for their graphics engine, so I wouldn't even try and download this and make it work.
Yeah, that seems like a
You know,
very good,
is what it is.
reasonable way to handle that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to make good, engaging vampire games, or maybe I'm just unaware of them. Right? I'm perfectly willing to admit that like I have not been like up to date on my good vampire games lately.
Mhm.
So it's possible I'm making myself out to be the fool, but like I don't know, games where you can be a vampire are cool. Like I don't think that's a hot take. Go be vampires.
I think it makes me really disappointed that the game Vampire is so bad.
Yeah, I remember you were playing
And
that.
honestly, it's not that even that it's bad, but it's just not great.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I acknowledge I was playing the hardest mode
Mm-hmm.
by trying to play the don't kill people method.
Of course,
I
but like that's if you're.
understand that.
But honestly, like if you're gonna kill people, what are you even doing, really? Right?
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I thought it would be cool to be like, oh, the good guy playthrough is to not drink anyone's blood and try and make everything work otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's ways to grind up your level and like get there. And I had to do some grinding to beat one of my first big bosses. It was really difficult for me because I was like,
And you were like, "What the fuck is this?"
I wasn't under leveled, but I literally like, and you know, maybe it's a game mechanics thing. Maybe I had balanced my character poorly, but like, it's not a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't have fun with that at all.
In fact, I actively didn't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine.
Yeah. No,
I think it had a chance to be a really good game, and it ended up turning out to just be an okay game.
Yeah, and I think that
But
is
like,
totally
more games
normal
like
and
that are
reasonable.
needed.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it is a. It's hard to do like okay games even, right? Like it's the only okay games you get nowadays are indie games, and it kind of goes back to that. I think we talked about it we've talked about it for movies as well, where like the era of like a shitty B movie is kind of dead. Like and let me phrase that. And intentionally, oh, it's okay if this movie's only okay. We will make the money back in our in DVD sales, right? Later on down the line, which was a lot of like mid Hollywood. I don't know. It's just it doesn't exist. That part doesn't exist anymore.
Mhm.
Because it kind of
Yeah,
I don't know. It had to die out because the big AAA studios don't want to take a risk on a game anymore. Because why would they when they can just print money? Like I agree with it even. Like I'm not upset about it.
I honestly, I don't agree with it. I get it, but I don't agree with it.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a better word to
it's-
phrase that. Yeah, I don't agree with
It's
it.
the
but I
same thing as,
definitely get it.
I know you probably have not seen Squid Game because
No, I have not, but
doesn't strike me as a
have
show
heard
that you
it
were interested
is
in.
phenomenal.
And see, I have also heard that. And it's on my list of eventual watches. But I was seeing this post go around that was supposed to be like branded as oh, look what happens when you don't give up on your dream. But like the guy who wrote that show has been shopping that script around since 2008.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And people are trying to like put this as a don't give up on your dreams kind of situation. When I heavily see it as a lot more of a Yeah, people don't know what's good if you shove it in their face, and they're just sitting here like, well, I don't really know what you expect me to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's things can be good and you don't have to be afraid of them just because it's not an existing property.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a big issue that like people aren't willing to step outside of properties at this point.
People being like
But
major studios and whatnot.
yes, people being major studios, even though people, meaning people, are clamoring for new things,
Yeah.
it bums me out a lot that like, I don't know, like people just like aren't willing, people studios are not willing to give people what they want.
Oh man, I love People Studios. That's one of my favorite companies.
I know, me too. Shame they're a bunch of bastards.
God, the worst.
But yeah, you know, like studios like have all this stuff, and that's one of the things I really enjoy about now. Blumhouse, as I have said before, I believe, has a rotten reputation of being the studio that churns out really shitty movies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's because Jason Blum, a man with a lot of money, gives like $1 million to every single horror script that passes his desk.
That's
And
very funny.
sometimes, yeah, it's like, well, maybe not $1 million, but like a good chunk of money, right? And sometimes these movies that he puts a good chunk of money into explode, and sometimes they fizzle out and they just weren't that good. But the man keeps like throwing money at these projects. He's like, and he's making money by the bucket
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because he's just funding every shitty script that hits his desk. And I think that that's pretty great, if we're being honest. I think that that's pretty fantastic.
That's so funny.
You know, it's helping us get a bunch of like indie movies out with studio distribution. You know,
Mhm.
I like that. I like the fact that they are out there and they're actually willing to do some of the stuff that it's going to take to keep things moving in a forward direction. And why do I bring up Blumhouse, you may ask, on this?
Do tell.
Halloween month. Well, I tell you, dude, it's because Halloween Kills comes out today. Today, not meaning the day of recording, but today meaning the day of release. Thursday. I'm watching the new movie tonight. Stoked as hell about it. Now, Dan, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Dan, you don't watch the Halloween movies, do you?
I do, in fact, not.
Like, maybe you watch Halloween movies as a like a concept of, ooh, that is a Halloween movie I shall watch. But yeah, exactly. Not really. But I just want to tell you about the Halloween franchise. And I'm going to send you a little chart so that you can follow along with me. Anyone else, I will do my best to explain as we go along, so it's like pretty easy to understand. So we're going to start with Halloween. Halloween, the movie, released in 1978. This was like a smash hit, one of the first slashers. It's a big deal. It's a big historical monumental release type of movie. Didn't do anything really different than like Black Christmas, but Black Christmas was a Canadian movie and it has more of a cult following
and nobody
than
respects
a
the
public
Canadians.
following. Exactly. Well, I mean, kind of, you know, people didn't know about it. It's this weird slasher movie from Canada in the 70s, you know? So this movie makes so much money. And John Carpenter was like, cool, my movie made money. Time for my anthology series to become reality. And the studio came to him and they're like, hey, people love it. Give us Halloween 2. And he's like, all right, cool. And he shows them a script and they're like, where's Michael Myers? And he's like, what do you mean? Michael Myers is done. He was just in the first movie. And they're like, oh, no. You got to give us Michael. And, you know, that's when we get Halloween 2, released in 81, where they're like, you got to give us Michael Myers. And he's like, fine, okay. And we invent a reason. Instead of Michael Myers randomly killing people, which was the entire point of the first movie, is that he was just an evil, soulless thing that just killed people. And no one knew why, and no one knew what was wrong. He just
nobody
killed
asked
people.
any stupid questions.
Exactly. And that was the core point, is that his psychologist was like, yeah, I look in his eyes and I see darkness. He is evil. He's a void. Nothing good about him. Halloween 2 gave him a reason. And it is widely regarded as a terrible move. Halloween 2 introduces Laurie Strode, who was our hero in the first movie, as Michael's sister. So now Michael is hunting her down as his last like connection to not being bad, right? And that kind of sucks, but whatever. You know, we can work with this. We can work around that.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And that's
doable.
Halloween 2. And Halloween 2, my guy, Halloween 2 blows up. And they're like, oh, Mr. Carpenter, give us another Halloween movie. So
Hey,
he's
yo,
just like,
Mr.
all right,
Carpenter,
cool.
I need more Halloween movies in here.
Well, let me
Something
tell
like
you,
that?
Dan, that's when we get Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Oh, okay.
And if
okay,
you're
okay,
looking
okay.
at this timeline, you may notice that we go Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4. Halloween 3 isn't on our timeline.
Correct.
It's all by itself. Well, that's because there's no Michael Myers in it. And that was widely regarded as a bad move. Halloween 3 tanked real bad. Now, here's the thing. If you watch this movie separate from the Halloween continuum, it's actually not that bad. It doesn't have Michael Myers, but it's not a bad movie. It's just not a good Halloween movie. And that's because everyone decided Halloween was just about Michael Myers at that point.
Makes sense.
So then we get to Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers. I'm sure you can see where that's coming from.
Yeah, I do. I feel like they were like, hey, maybe we spoke too quickly. Maybe we should bring back the mics.
Exactly. We bring back Mikey
Mike's
Boy.
Hard Meyerade.
But people are starting to wonder,
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
what's exactly up with Mike? I'm just going to move past it. What's up with Mike? Why is he doing the things
What's
he's
Mike's
doing?
deal? How's
You know?
Mike doing?
Well, that's the thing, because he was a person, right? But you know, as the series has gone on, he becomes
He's
less and less
definitely not
people-y.
a person. Yeah, I didn't even realize he was supposed to originally be a person. As somebody looking from the outside, I always thought it was a eldritch
Kind
figure.
of like how Jason is like, everyone recognizes Jason as, oh yeah, he's an unstoppable killing like
Exactly.
zombie, I guess.
I'm gonna
But
be
that
real
doesn't
with
actually
you.
happen until the 7th movie.
I'm gonna be 100% real with you.
Mhm.
I
Are Michael and Jason the same in your mind almost?
They are. They are literally the exact same. One, I vaguely remember one has mommy issues. That's
so
it.
here's the thing. They are, because Friday the 13th was, the director was told, make Halloween.
That's so
And that's how Friday the
good.
13th happened.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
So because that's how it happened, there's a huge similarity, even though Jason wasn't in the first Friday. That's why they feel very similar.
Okay.
The power creep of both of them is very similar, where they just like get to a point where by the 7th movie, or the 6th movie, I mean, Jason is an undead monster. And by the 6th movie, Michael Myers, it turns out, is because we're gonna skip past the 5th one because I don't remember enough about it. But by the 6th Halloween movie, he's being commanded by a cult, and the reason he's a soulless killing machine is because he's being run by a cult.
So dumb.
So like that's the Halloween arc has jumped the shark so hard, right?
That's so
And that's
good.
where you may notice there's a branch at Halloween too, where we hit a secondary timeline. We go 1, 2, blank, 4, 5, 6. But then there's Halloween H20, 20 years later, that branches off of 2. And it's like, okay, well, what's up with this? Well, that's what they did the first retcon. Our first retcon takes us away from the insanity of the cult of Thorn. And they're like, you know what? Michael Myers was better when he was a little more grounded. So they give us a slightly more grounded Halloween movie again. They bring back Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's just a grand old time. And then we get Halloween Resurrection right after that, and that has Busta Rhymes in it. So once again, we've jumped the shark again, and it's like, well, what are you guys doing? Also, it's very worth noting that somehow they kept losing the mask in between movies, so each movie had a new William Shatner mask.
Is that what the mask is supposed to be?
Yep, it's a William Shatner mask.
Oh,
Some
that's
people
right.
say
I
it's
do remember
turned
that.
inside out, but
I do
that's
remember
not
that.
true.
I do remember that. I remember this.
Someone took the mask, spray painted it white, and gave it a haircut. And that's boom, bada bing.
You got a Williams McShatner over here.
Exactly. Michael Shatner, William Myers.
William Myers is a pretty bad name.
It honestly, no offense to the William Myers of the world, but it's not a great one. Don't give us a Willie Myers Jr., okay? That's all I'm saying.
Willie Myers here.
So this, Dan, when Busta Rhymes is entered into the timeline, this is where we're like, all right, that's it. That's the end of Halloween. And it sits dead for 5 years until Halloween 2007. Now, this is a third timeline here, but this is a totally unconnected to the main canon third timeline.
Yeah, of course, because it would be weird if it was the same. It was the same timeline. That would be ridiculous.
It would be weird if there was any sort of consistency. That's just funny. That would be silly. This is the Rob Zombie Halloween universe. Now, you may have actually heard of the Rob Zombie Halloween.
I have actually,
just because it's so something.
I was literally out at a record shop over the
nicest
weekend
way to put it.
and saw an entire anthology collection of all of them.
Yeah. So these are the most gratuitously violent, Halloween movies.
Okay.
He brings in, oh, you know what? Let me
Gotta make sure you're giving me the top quality, correct information.
I want to make sure I'm telling you who played Michael Myers for Rob
Okay.
Zombie.
Okay.
We got a pro wrestler, Tyler Mane. Okay. So Tyler Mane is brought in. How tall is this man? That's what I need to find out. I don't know why I checked his IMDb because that's not going to tell me jack shit. The man is 6'9".
That is a lad, I think is the.
So
I'm pretty sure that's the technical term, right? A lad.
A lad and a boy. You know how tall Danny Trejo is, right?
Sure.
Let me check. So we got Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo is 5'6". Not super tall, but he's not, like he's just a slightly under average height, right? For a guy. So here's a picture of him as a guard for the mental asylum taking Michael around. And if you'll see, Michael is hunched over a lot in this photo.
My God.
He's a beast of a man. He's absolutely huge. Oh, yeah, I figured you would remember Danny Trejo as soon as you saw his face.
It's the mustache.
Mm-hmm.
He's great. I actually really like Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo is just fantastic.
He's a gift. That man, you know what he straight up looks like a Wookiee. Like
Danny Trejo?
No, the Michael's McMire. Like he looks like a Wookiee with human hands.
He does.
Like
in this
large.
picture, he definitely does. He's insanely big. He's just too big. And
hey, yeah,
this
man,
is
this problem with your wrestlers is they're just too big. You got too big wrestlers.
He's just too big. So this is the man that Rob Zombie brings in as his Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm. You're Michael's McMire.
And he's so incredibly scary. He brings a level of like visceral violence to the role that you really didn't see as much in the frankly kind of schlocky Halloween movies.
Yeah, they're kind of
weren't all like, they weren't like bad.
Well,
but they weren't good, and some of them were bad. Like the penciled on eyebrows on some of these masks are just like atrocious. But we have the zombie Michael Myers, Rob Zombie, not undead Michael Myers.
We get to that later.
And
that comes in the 7th movie you said.
And it's really
I was listening. Fuck you.
That's Jason, dude. Jason's a zombie.
Same thing.
But yeah, so that's where we get Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2. They're very sexed up. There's a lot of
in which literally or metaphorically,
not cool nudity.
Oh no,
no, it's just literally sexed up. There's a lot of nudity, and there's a lot of like very bloody violence. Like people get beat to shit in these movies.
I mean,
I'm not gonna say that they're bad entries to the Halloween franchise because I think it's the natural progression of slasher movies to get more violent. However, Rob Zombie does this like sexual turn on a lot of his like projects that I think was just a little bit too much.
Icky.
Like, I'm not going to hate on people for liking them.
No,
because I
like
think the theatrical versions, not the director's cut, because the director's cut is really kind of gross. But the theatrical versions I think are fun. If this is what you want to, if you want to watch some people get beat down, these are okay movies for it. The second one gets a little trippy. It's kind of more like a Rob Zombie music video at times. It's really dreamy. And to
be clear, you're not saying that the murderer is dreamy. You're not Edge.
He spends a whole lot of the movie not wearing the mask actually, and he's like super beardy and everything.
That's a weird choice.
He also
I'm not gonna lie.
dogs, which was something that was delicately touched on in the first movie. The first like original Halloween is like, oh, someone murdered a dog here and ate it. Must be an animal. So in Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie one, it was just like, yeah, he eats dogs and that's how he's surviving.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's one of those things, you hammer home how bad a character is by whether or not they hurt dogs.
That is factually true.
Yeah.
Like that
it's a stereotype for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, because it works. Nothing makes you hate somebody more than, hey, that person, he hit a dog.
It's one of the issues that I know, I think, who was it that has with JoJo's is that the bad guys always kill or hurt dogs to show that they're They're very bad men.
I have no idea.
I can't remember if it was JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
Oh,
It's either Nina or one of my siblings. One of us is like, maybe if they didn't.
Maybe if they would stop. Yeah, Michelle won't watch anything where a dog gets hurt. Just full stop.
I mean, I'm not going to say that's a bad decision.
No, I don't think. I think it's totally
fair.
understandable. I don't necessarily think that I would do the same, but I totally get it. Like, I get it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the Halloween canon up until 2009. Rob Zombie made such a splash. He actually made a lot of statements talking about how, oh yeah, I mean, I wanted to get John Carpenter's permission, but he said, get out of here. You belong in a garbage can. And then John Carpenter was like, he never asked me for my permission. I would have given it to him. As long as I get my check, I don't care. And then he was like, I think his take on this is perfectly valid. I think he missed the point of some of the characters, but that's fine. I don't really care.
I don't care
so,
about that.
John Carpenter is a very practical fellow who's like, yeah, my IP has already been like bastardized to death. Just give me my check and I don't really give a shit.
I respect it.
And, we didn't hear anything from Halloween until 2018, where Halloween, just titled Halloween, drops. Now, this is our fourth timeline, Dan. Our fourth timeline.
I'm running out of... I kick ass in 2 timelines. I'm all out of timelines.
So Rob Zombie decided to keep the lore that Laurie was Michael's sister. Laurie is Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Okay.
However, everyone kind of agrees that was kind of a weird... and it was inserted into the story as I guess we need a reason for Michael to come back, I guess.
I suppose.
And that's, and it's not an ideal addition. So Halloween 2018 takes up 40 years after Halloween, the original.
Okay.
So that's why our fourth timeline splits off from Halloween.
I hate, the longer this goes on, the more I am maybe not confused, but maybe vaguely angry.
I think that's incredibly reasonable. I think that's very, very reasonable. So Halloween 2018 comes out, and it's a direct sequel, and it's actually really good.
Oh, good.
They bring in, Jamie Lee Curtis helped a lot with the characterization of herself in Halloween H2O or H20, depending on how you want to say it, which is, I don't remember if she was in Resurrection or not, but I don't think she was. Or if she was, it wasn't for long.
Mm-hmm.
But she helped characterize her character a lot in the fact that, yeah, she's an alcoholic who's constantly running away from the thing that she knows is always going to hunt her.
I don't think that is not a bad characterization.
I don't think so either. For Halloween 2018, though, they had already understood that this is what they were going for. They were already like, yeah. And Laurie wouldn't want to be connected to Michael anymore. She's afraid of him because she knows he's going to eventually get out of that institution they caught him and put him in. And it's going to be a problem.
I mean...
so she became this crazy survivalist, isolationist. And it's actually really great.
That's amazing.
She has her whole house is rigged as a trap. Every single door, there's a button that will drop a big metal, at the mall.
Yeah,
those big sliding sheet metal.
Mm-hmm.
It drops one of those. So she can toward
For
the end of the
every
movie,
door,
she's
you said?
Yeah, every door in the house has this. And she's going room to room, and as she clears a room, she presses the button and seals it so that she knows no one's coming in behind her. And it's just, there's a lot to like about it.
That's
and all this is to say,
great. I actually really like
I'm so excited for Halloween Kills because I don't personally know, but some of the creators I follow have talked about this movie, and they were saying, yeah, Halloween Kills, which is the one coming out 2021, day this episode drops, is as violent as the Rob Zombie movies.
Oh my.
Except I know they're not going to be creepy sexual. I know it's just going to be pure Michael Myers violence, which 2018 already had a severe uptick in violence. There was some pretty great stuff. They gave him, it's kind of a joke in the horror community that Michael is a really uncreative killer. Yeah. And Jason is a more creative killer.
Okay.
In Friday the 13th part 2, there's a moment where he stands on a chair to trick someone into coming out from under a bed, and then he tries to stab her with a pitchfork from on top of the chair, but then the chair breaks and he just kind of falls over.
That's
but he
funny.
tried. And the only thing Michael ever does is he'll stab someone and then do that patented head tilt of, they seem to be dying. And then that's it. I think if we could remove everything about these movies that makes them what they are and just had the tropes where I explain, like sit next to you and like, okay, so look, Dan, here it comes. And then he'll stab someone viciously and you're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, wait for it. It's the best part. And then he does the head tilt. And I'm like, see that? See that? See that?
See that? He does that every time.
He does is the problem. It became a problem.
Really funny.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this movie brings. I can't wait till next week when I'm definitely going to rant and rave about it just a tiny little bit.
Call it a hunch, but I think it's going to be more than a tiny little bit.
You know what? I think so too. Oh, it's not going to be the one that Edge is on. She's coming on
I mean,
the next week.
That's on you.
It is on me. It's also on Halloween for being on the 31st.
If only we had someone in control of who schedules our guests.
I know, right?
Be very convenient.
But still, all that to be said, I'm very excited for the new Halloween movie. Thank you for sitting and listening through the Halloween timeline.
I am horrified and fascinated.
It's incredibly special. Also, if you Google Rob Zombie Michael Myers, what it ends up showing is on Google, it'll give me a map to Walmart, Target, and Spirit Halloween. And I think it's because they happen to be selling the Rob Zombie Halloween movies right now.
You know what? That makes some sense.
But anyway, we have, now that I've talked at just too much length about these movies, Dan, we have something actually kind of important to talk about, in my opinion.
Oh no. There are many important things to talk about that are movie related.
Well, I wasn't even thinking movie related, if we're being honest.
Okay.
I was thinking of doing a hard pivot where I tactfully move on to a different topic by saying I'm doing it.
I think that's called a segue.
Now, as I ride my Segway down this hard pivot, you may
hear my Segway in the Hollywood Hills.
As I ride my Segway in the Hollywood Hills, you may remember a couple weeks ago, Twitch had a massive data leak.
Correct, that is true.
Just such a massive data leak, and it's just not. It wasn't cool. And one of the things that it did was it showed us how much the top 10,000 streamers are making.
Yes, that is true.
And what a lot of people would have seen is that Critical Role was at the top of the list by a pretty wide margin.
Yeah, actually, like an impressively large margin.
So, I don't know. I feel like because you mentioned that you wanted to talk about it, that we could talk about it.
I'm down to talk about it. So I was specifically talking about the animated show, but I'm also very down to talk about it in general. Because I think that like people are real mad at a lot of creators right now for it. And
I thought that this was, my bad. I thought you had a different angle here. That's why I was bringing up this part of it.
I mean, I think that
also,
both are great angles.
I tried to check the Pastebin link you sent me that had all the information, and they pulled it all.
Yeah, they pulled it all.
Which is, okay. I think that is appropriate. I think that is the correct thing to do.
Completely appropriate, and I don't think I'm going to repeat how much exact dollar amounts are, because I do think that is actually a privacy, like I get why people are like upset. Oh, hey, maybe I don't want people to know exactly how much I make from Twitch payouts. Like, that's fine.
I will agree with that for the individual creators, but I think for Critical Role, I think a number is a decent thing to toss out there.
I think you can say, what was it? The more what I got from by the end was that the specific period was like shown in that Pastebin was August 2019 to August 2020. I think is what it was, or maybe 2020 to 2020.
I think it was till September. I think it was.
It was only a year. I'm pretty sure. It was 1 year.
It was 1 year of earnings.
It was 1 year of earnings, and Critical Role is interesting just because of the sheer amount of it was over 9 mil over the course of the year.
Yeah, it was not 10, but it was over 9.
Yeah.
And some people were really mad about this. And they were also mad about like individual creators who made money
too. Yeah, I want to talk about that.
And I think
why
that's weird, right?
Hey everybody, I just wanted to cut in real quick. Dan and I accidentally got like way in the weeds trying to talk about this. We ended up talking about like budget breakdown of Twitch earnings for like 20 minutes, and we didn't get anywhere with it. There's nothing that we like, no like big revelation of, and this is why we're so smart. It was literally just us like budgeting out 1 year of Critical Role's earnings and guessing how much each person made, and it literally is the most useless conversation you've ever heard in your life. So I just want to let you know, that's what I cut. It's literally pointless. We felt like we really just kind of got like lost in the heat of the moment. So Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the episode.
And I think here's the thing, right? While this is like just jaw-dropping money to me, $50,000 a year would be so nice to me.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing here is that a lot of people forget that Critical Role is a business. They are not your friendly neighborhood YouTuber who you watched grow up from nothing, even though they kind of are.
In a way,
Like,
yeah.
You know, but like they're still a business.
Yeah.
They're a corporation. The
If
Critical
they weren't
Role
profitable,
empire
they wouldn't
is a
still
thing.
doing it.
Exactly. And that there's actually a side tangent I have about Critical Role, which you and I have talked about a little bit, but it's like, once again, not directed at anyone I know who does D&D podcasts.
Agreed. Yes. And
But
also,
people
to be clear, none of
seem
this
to
is directed
think-
at people who are fans of Critical Role either. Like, go be fans.
Oh
of,
yeah,
like,
no. And this is no. I have no beef with the fans. I have no beef with anything like that. This is more of
Exactly.
like a think about it for a second kind of thing.
Mhm.
Where like I don't know why so many people think Critical Role isn't at least a little scripted.
They've come out. I'm pretty sure they've come out and said that it is.
Cause like if I don't know if they have said that or not, but here's my thing, right? If it is scripted, which it has to be, they're still acting through it. They still have it all planned. But if they're doing it live, it's still not fully unscripted.
Mhm.
Like there are still people out there who are like let's say Matt Mercer makes the whole thing.
Mhm.
Let's say he does top to bottom, everything's original from him.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's true, but let's say.
I'm pretty sure
The
it
man
is.
is
But
not-
judging by their cast,
Because
list, it
they
is.
are. Oh, good to know. Congrats to him. Like unironically, good for him.
Like, go ahead. Sorry,
Um,
I will continue when you're done.
Oh, yeah. So based around that, they're once again a business, and they're going to make sure that their business does well enough that it doesn't like fall apart because someone doesn't know where the story is supposed to be going.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of this, they are sitting down, they're planning this out, and they're like, all right, here's the plan. We are going to go from here and we're going to get here. And here are 4 major story points along the way. Here's where we need to go. At the very least, that information is going to be given to everyone. And what I think is more likely is each episode is here's what I kind of want to have happen during the episode. Like just general vague ideas of we need to get, even if it is just, we need to get from here to here. There's pre-planning, there's pre-conversation. There's a lot of like, all right, let's be ready so that we don't all enter this blind.
Yeah, of course.
And I feel like a lot of people, and I think this might even be like the problem of podcasts in general, because I have listened to a lot of people who started up podcasts during
The Rona.
during the pandemic, and they're not great. But
To be fair.
everyone has their one friend. Hey! Don't to be fair to me about this podcast. This podcast is fantastic.
To be fair.
We're not a Corona podcast.
Yeah, we were
we've
here
been
before
going
the
for
Corona, and
3
we'll be here
years now.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, can you imagine that? 100 years from now, we're still croaking on these mics. It's like, and that's why I'm mad about current issue.
And that's why I hate furries.
But, you know, like a lot of people started up podcasts thinking it's just, oh, yeah, you sit down and you talk into a microphone. And that is a lot of it.
It is. It
But-
is still a skill, but it is a lot of it is just dicking around talking to a microphone, to be clear.
Exactly. But like, usually, for instance, we here at Off the Air, we don't really script much of what we do at all. Sometimes before the mic goes, I'll be like, hey, I saw a movie this weekend and I want to talk about it. And then Jackson will be like, hey, Noah, you seen any Venom movies this weekend? You know, like
yeah, exactly.
we prepare for some things.
Yeah.
I also do my best to try and like pretend that I don't know about it as it comes up and be like, oh, I am surprised to hear this. And, you know, we like,
It's a bit.
you know, yeah, you know, like you don't want to feel scripted. You want to feel natural as you possibly can. And that's just how it works. But
Well,
like sometimes you'll see people sit down and they'll just like, they'll tell knock jokes and talk about like stuff like that for like 40 minutes. And it's like, well, that's not that great. You know, there's
Noah's
like an
out
element
here
to
trying
it,
to
and
start
that-
beef with other podcasts, is what I'm hearing.
I'm
now.
gonna start beef with the knock joke fandom.
Damn, Noah. Damn, guys, Noah confirmed hates knock jokes. Little known fact.
Knock, knock.
Exactly.
Answer the door, Dan. Answer the door,
Answer the
Dan.
fucking door. I will not be persuaded or coerced into answering a door that I do not wish to answer. That is a crime.
Answer the door.
It's God knocking. Answer the door.
Boom, boom. But yeah,
What is that fucking terrible face? What is that? That's a thing. Oh God. Oh God.
know.
It's God knocking. Will you answer? Something stupid. It's something like that. It's so bad and
It's
so
the same
dumb.
as God's calling on the phone.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
And God calling, will you answer? And the green one kind of has like a cross on it, and the hang up looks like it's like, and you're gonna go to hell. The devil
Exactly.
is sitting on that button.
Devil's waiting. He's waiting for you to hang up on God. Imagine, just leave God on red, dude. It's fine. He'll get over it.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, all that to say, if you have a podcast that is a D&D podcast full of professional comedians, yeah, you probably can wing the whole thing.
No,
However,
no, I disagree. Because here's the thing. Here's because I follow a couple of different actual plays that are like long form, and I think that it's the idea that they could even maybe try, right, to do things on the fly is insane, right? Obviously. But I think that it's I'm gonna say something. I think no matter what form of content you're doing, if you're doing with friends, especially D&D, because that's where to kind of wing it back to that. Like, if I'm doing a D&D game with somebody, I low key would rather my DM sit with all of us at the beginning anyway, and have us have a talk about what like the broad strokes plan is, even not for that day, but like, hey, here's some character things I want to talk about. Here's some character beats I want to hit. Like that should be going on. Like no matter what you're doing in a D&D setting specifically, but in most settings, I think that you should be doing that. Unless the whole point is a like Call of Cthulhu game where your intent is to surprise and shock your players. But even then you want to like set baseline expectations, because that's how you make things happen. And like I suspect the way the Critical Role team handles it is much the same way as some other podcasts, where it is we're going to sit down and we're going to say, all right, here are the major character beats we want to hit with these characters. Here's where they're starting. Here's where we want them to end up. And everything else is kind of a toss up. Like that's how I would do it if I ran the zoo kind of thing. But
I think a good example of a big podcast that does wing it is the first season of the Adventure Zone. Because they didn't even all know how to play the game.
That's fair. And I think that relies a lot more on, and I think that if it's like a purely comedy thing, right, that is also a lot easier to wing. But
respectfully, they're riding on the McElroy coattails.
Exactly.
People are listening and / watching because it's a McElroy, not necessarily because it's
a
good.
McElroy. I don't know. I feel like we've gone on this a while, and I think the general point is that don't be mad at Critical Role because they're a fucking business, and also their art is dead and everything you're watching is scripted. Like,
I mean, I still say that like there are some things that you can do it live and it works out okay.
I think so too.
But also, those are groups of people that they like. I don't know. They play together a lot. Like I know. Shout out to Emma and her actual plays that are happening on her Twitch channel, like more than one night a week. I don't remember every night that it happens, but
it's pretty common.
It's
now,
more than one. It's like 2 or 3 times a week. And I know those are generally unscripted. However, I also know that those are almost exclusively people that she has played with for years. You know, like even if the players haven't all played with each other an awful lot, Emma has played with each of those players for a very long time. So like there's definitely ways to make it happen. However, if you're gonna make your content, you gotta be either ready to roll with the punches so that you can force things to follow your story if you need to. You know, like here my pro tip is lie. You can lie. Yeah, and you should be. Okay.
Did you know you can lie in D&D and it's allowed? The DM can't stop you.
It's true.
It's just hard to do. It's a difficult fucking skill to hone, and yeah, sometimes I don't agree with players fudging their dice, and you're a monster for that, and I think we might not be friends anymore, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, that is what it is.
But DM fudging dice is a whole nother ballgame and something that I generally am fine with. GMs are here to tell stories.
For what it's
and
worth, I haven't done that in a long time. I do need to defend myself. My current group can attest to the fact that I failed every single Eldritch Blast attempt
Oof.
on our first session.
Yikes.
I had more than 10 turns, and I think maybe one went off.
I feel that. I feel that in a
was
big way.
I changed dice 5 times.
Oh, buddy.
After my main set was just like, well, these clearly aren't working.
Oh, buddy.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to. I don't know. I feel like we've transitioned subjects like 3 times, and so I'm trying to like pull back towards something where we started at. I think that I think it's okay that I think it's okay that games can be scripted. I think it's okay for things to be fudged. I think it's okay for fucking companies to make money. Well, to an extent, eat the rich. I don't think it's okay that Amazon makes money anymore. But I don't know. It's one of those things where people. I think okay. Here's where I think. I think people especially in the modern day, especially in our current climate, need to be better at recognizing what is and is not real, right? Mm-hmm. Some things that you see on the internet are actually real, right? Like there are plenty of things that are real. There are also a great many things that are not, and that's okay. They shouldn't have to be. You can enjoy them for what they are, and what they are can be fake, and that's fine. It doesn't make it less good.
I mean, like people like TV.
Exactly.
TV exists, and TV is exclusively fake, and no one questions it. You know, like
that's a great segue into what I was the original reason we brought up I wanted to bring up Critical Role is because I have that TV show. Mm-hmm. For me, right, I recognize that Critical Role, like we just talked about, is at least somewhat scripted. I recognize that there is a kind of a core, maybe not, what's the right word? A core charm to it, I guess would be an okay word. But like, I also recognize that I don't have an interest in watching a fully scripted version of the show because then it's no longer even pretending. You know what I mean? Like it's dropped all pretense of, hey, this is at least somewhat, you know what I mean? I don't know. I have firm the context. Sorry, I should go into context. Good podcasting. So Critical Role is getting a Amazon TV series called The Legend of Vox Machina, which is, as far as we can tell, we being myself, as far as I can tell, either a retelling of the first season of Critical Role or a exploration of the time before Critical Role, which I'm pretty sure the comics already go into. Mm-hmm. I am firmly in it's a cash grab and bad thing. Because to me, once you take away a table, then they're just then it's just voice actors doing voice work, and that's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and watch voice actors doing, like, I'm not going to I don't care enough about it to see it again. You know what I mean? I watched almost all the first season of Critical Role. I enjoyed it. I don't need to sit here and be like, okay, now I've seen it regularly. Now I get to see it again animated. Like I've already seen the story. I don't know. I know it's not for me on some level. Like I get that, but also I'm like, why have you taken away the thing that makes Critical Role unique? Like if you're making a Critical Role TV show, at that point, why don't I just go watch Dragon Prince or any other fantasy, like animated fantasy television show? Like the whole thing that makes it special is it's a bunch of nerds around a table. Mm-hmm. If you take that away, there's nothing. Like it's fine. It's not bad. It's not gonna be bad. It's just why, just why.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I don't have much of an opinion either way. Not to be like I don't care about what you're talking about, Dan.
No.
I just don't have much of an opinion on it. It's one of those things where I recently found out the McElroys, for example, had a TV show on TV.
Correct.
And I did not know that. And that blew my mind. I just thought that they were internet people on the internet. And yeah, I don't know. Everyone branches out and does new things across the board. And I don't know. It's like you were saying, I know I'm not going to watch it. Except because of that, I've decided, I guess I don't really care about it.
Well, it kind of goes back to what we were originally talking about, which was like, hey, people getting mad about it. For some people, it'll be a thing of, I don't want to watch the McElroys on TV because they're internet people. Like the people the people that were getting mad at Critical Role for this kind of thing are the people who are like, or like any of the YouTubers. What I was seeing was a lot of people being successful that they're being angry that the people they wanted to be successful ended up being successful, right? Everyone wants your favorite YouTuber to do well, but like there are people who are getting mad, who have been getting mad about the fact that, oh, hey, it turns out they're doing very well. And I don't think that's like a reasonable take to have. Like it's something you can't be like, yes, I am happy for this thing, and then it's like, oh wait, actually I just liked it, when I could be like, wow, why isn't anybody watching this great thing? It's a very hipstery, like, I only liked it before it was cool kind of mindset. I don't know. I don't know. It makes me feel I'm unhappy about the Critical Role TV show. I think it's a wildly missed mark, and like not something that was ever needed or that anyone really asked for. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. No, this was a long time to get to that point.
I mean, yeah, that's okay though.
No,
I think it was fun.
It is fun. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to talk about other RPGs. I don't have anything new in the RPG world to talk about that I haven't riffed on or raved about before.
I mean, it's not like we have a lot of time to get into them either, but you know, tis
Were you the
what
one
it
talking
is.
about D&D 6 with me?
I think so.
Okay, I can't remember if that was on the podcast or on the stream.
I think we might have been on stream, where it was just like, I don't know why they're making D&D 6, because
It was definitely
a lot
on stream,
of people
yeah.
a lot of people are into new things now.
Yeah, I mean that's why they're making it so they can stay relevant. But
I mean, yeah, still though.
Yeah, no, we've gone over. No, do we have any shoutouts?
I mean, I'm pretty sure we owe Emma a shout out just for her stuff. I know we did shout her out earlier, but honestly, go check out Emma Panada on Twitch.
Yes.
She does a lot of really good TTRPG content. Heavily recommend. Nina's in one of her games, the Kids on Bikes on Brooms. That's a Sunday night extravaganza every like couple Sundays or something like that. I don't actually know the schedule because I cannot remember things.
Memory bad, actually.
Memories. Yeah, I don't know. Check it out though. I think and this is not just because I have the horror podcast with Emma as well. I think Emma's a pretty strong creator, and that she deserves a whole lot of support. I was gonna say respect and like that too, but like I meant support, so you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's about all I got though.
That's fair.
Anything you want to say?
No, I have nothing going on right now. I have actually a whole lot of nothing going on right now. I don't think. Did I mention anything that I should be thinking of?
Nothing that we can put as a closer.
Cool. Noah.
New York Comic Con you were going to talk about, but we're going to talk about that probably next week.
Or not at all, because I didn't actually go. I just know it happened.
Oh, never mind then. We won't talk about that at all.
We don't talk about New York Comic Con at all.
You know, New York Comic Con's been dead for 10 years.
I was born in the New York Comic Con. Molded by it. I didn't see a...
Links in the show notes, y'all. Thank you for listening
I
to
didn't see a
our
Comics Con until I was already
very
a man.
long-winded episode.
And by then, it was nothing to be but shitty.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.